Just be who you are for this one. This is not a silly sode. This is a realistic sode. We just fucking woke up sode.
Yes. Look, you can see it in our eyes. Maybe not you. You've been a human longer today. You've had water. You've been outside. I saw you outside. You went outside today. Listen, you guys, y'all are gonna have to get ready for me to be in goblin mode this episode. I don't know what to tell you.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
You know what I could frickin' gobble right now, dude?
Whataburger.
Oh, I was gonna say a breakfast Crunchwrap Supreme from Taco Bell. Oh,
good for
baby.
you.
They put a hash brown in it.
I mean, I don't like breakfast food, but I do love a fucking hash brown.
You don't like any breakfast food? Oh. Do you like pancakes?
Sometimes. They're usually not very good.
Do you like waffles?
Realistically. Hell yes.
Okay. Do you like the waffles that's shaped like Texas?
Waffle House! I've never had one.
As a Texan, where every hotel has a Texas-shaped waffle maker, that is wild to me.
That's a Texas thing, my friend.
That's so...
I
what other
almost
states?
called you honey again.
Babe.
Honey, that is...
Honey.
Well, because I haven't talked to Ken face-to-face in a week, and, like, my body's just like, how come you're not saying this word to the person you're talking to all the time?
Your mouth is I gotta meet my quota. All right. As you guys can tell, we're talking about digital witchcraft today.
Yes, because all of that definitely led into that.
I have been dubbed the queen of segues. And I specifically am going to be talking about, I guess, a way that I have practiced digital witchcraft, but we have a couple of things first.
This is not how you wake up at Anahata's Purpose. You wake up excited and ready to start the day. And why do I mention Anahata's Purpose? Because we have a discount code. Woo, 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 woo. Horn, horn, horn.
Now that was a segue. That was a segue, my friend. Yeah. You know who, you know when you won't be groggy and sleepy-eyed? When you're at the AP. Listen.
With us.
The anaphatas.
Anaphylactic.
The anaphylactic shock.
The anaphylactic purpose.
We have a special relationship with Anahata's Purpose. The beans and Anahatas, they go hand in hand. They love each other and they like to hang out. So
they're our romance partner. Shout out Dimension 20. If you know, you know. Charlye does not.
I don't. So I was just like,
romance partner.
Wow. Is that the one with the little redhead that you like?
Yes.
Yeah.
You mean my husband, Brennan?
Yes. That one.
I have a lot of sister wives.
I can't tell. Well, that's okay, because we're also married to Cillian Murphy, and I feel like we must have at least 1 million sister wives.
Even if they call him Cillian.
It makes me want to bash my own face in when people say Cillian Murphy. Have you not watched an interview? Have you not heard his delicious velvety accent say his own name? Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about...
We should do an episode where we just do that.
Can we do... Listen. We need one of the Irish...
Let's talk to you about the Church of Jim.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's actually getting stuff done. We have a code for you if you want to go to Anahata's Purpose. But you're like,
come
you know
to the Church of Jim.
I would love to go to the Church of Jim and eat snacks with my granddad and my daddy, and that's me. And but you know what? But I could use a couple of dollars off. We've got you, friend. Your grandpa's going to tell you about it while they do this motion.
Use code Church of Jim. It's good. It's $10 off any $75 order, and it's good for weekend day passes, car passes, and meal plans. So if you've already bought your ticket, you can still get this $10 off on your meal plan.
Yeah.
With code Church of Jim. We may even have a surprise service down at the vending area. So get ready.
Will we all bow our heads and have someone who's cosplaying Jim come out and do a little dance for us? Code Church of Jim. Go to AP, come see us, come eat with us. And I guess now there's nothing left to do except for me to talk to you about, hi, my name is Charlye. On the day that this comes out, I will be a lot more awake and aware than I am right now. I'll be very spry and lively, and you'll want to see that, won't you? You will. So join me today, the big Skyrim Twitch. I am twitching today at 5 p.m. Central Time. And
that's 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Mountain. That's completely not how you're supposed to do that, but you found your time.
Wow. I would have sat here and had to count on my fingers, and it would have taken a very long time. So, check it out. You can follow me over there. You can get the alert when I go live. Sometimes when Twitch wants to work. But I'm going to play my very favorite game. We'll post it all over. Please join. It's going to be a fun time.
Yes.
We're going to have all kinds of things that you can do to interact, and we're going to build this little life together. So twitch.tv/Charlye_ with a Y. Link below. Join me. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm going to throw up, but not on stream. You won't have to see that. And that does tie in, actually. There is a real segue here to witchcraft's place within the digital realm.
Digital witchcraft. Have you ever done it? Consciously, did you ever sit down and say, I'm going to do some digital witchcraft?
I haven't, unless you count the times that I have accidentally done it. But I know you said on purpose. But, having this pod and doing things like on a bonus, we enchanted the bonus for the listener who viewed it and or listened to it to have a good day. It was a simple enchantment, but one nonetheless. So we do have a cursed episode, but I'm not going to tell you which one. You just have to wait to find out. Talk to me about digital witchcraft.
Well,
you go.
I'm going to talk about what thing. I'm leaving.
Actually, I think we're going to go instead. Disappear into the.
I'm just going to sink down and vanish into the desert. So it turns out I didn't think I did because in my brain, digital witchcraft is only using emojis to create spells. But in reality, it's a lot of things.
But the fly liked that. Sorry, there's a fly in here, so I'm gonna have to cut this part out. But oh my fucking God. Okay. I didn't think of emoji spellcraft until you specifically said it the other day, and I was like, oh, hell shit. But go on, expound.
Well, I remember one time in Wabah, early on in the Facebook group, someone said, "What do you think of this?" And it was some kid on Instagram with a bunch of emojis and like, "This is a spell," and everybody was like, "That's stupid." But realistically, it's not stupid. I do them a lot without actually thinking about it because the Marco group spells that I do with Hive House, I consider that digital witchcraft.
Okay.
Casey of Casey's Corner, who used to do the monthly spells, to me, that's digital witchcraft.
Very. I guess I accidentally do them when I use emojis to denote the tone that I'm speaking in. And my spell is, please understand the tone that I'm speaking in.
Yeah, because the spell could be batshit crazy because it's us. But if there's like a crystal ball at the beginning, we mean magic.
Yeah, that's the code. It's
not just bullshittery.
Crystal ball, magic. No crystal ball, bullshittery. That's a fun game. Were we going to play that game where I like toss out some rando emojis to you? I can tell you my top used emojis, and you can tell me. Hold on, I got to make sure that they're okay.
Fun. Text them to me or something.
They're all just like water splash eggplant peach.
Yeah, you do eggplant all the time.
I do.
And mine is pancakes. Pancakes mean I love you.
Do. Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. We'll be talking on Marco, and all of a sudden I'll just see a bunch of pancakes float up. Oh, one at a time. Here's my most used emoji. If you know, you know. Only ancient fossils know what that's from. There's my top 5, I think. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6.
So the first one, I think, could be like...
Here, I'll show...
A happy smiley face. Happy, like a hug. An internet hug or gladness. Come on.
It's the like, I'm pleased smile with like the little blushing cheeks guy.
And the second one is like, fuck if I know.
That's the shrug.
And the third one was like...
Yeah. That's the I'm being
okay,
devilish.
So the second one I would use if I wanted to confuse people.
Okay, so the shrug emoji is we're gonna make you confused. So we should just post a string of those right now, no context on Facebook. I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm going to do it right now.
And the little sneaky devil one, because it starts out friendly.
And then he's like,
you know how you can make things? Can you make things white? Can you make these like the same color as the background? Because this to me would be something presenting as innocent, but you're actually trying to do something subversive.
So what's interesting to me is here on this particular, are they moving for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like on text, they're animated, which typically when I send these like on Facebook or whatever, they're not. So it's interesting to see how it starts like a nice little face and then he turns all evil. I wouldn't say evil. I'd say mischievous.
His little eyebrow.
I can't do that face, but that's as close as I come. Hold on, let me post these shrugs.
Okay. I could tell when you were recording because you'd post just some weird shit and not explain it at all. I was like, oh, what's this episode going to be about? Grasshoppers.
There we go. All right. By the time this comes out, I hope y'all remember when that happened. Okay.
But it's so on brand for you personally.
That's my spell that you'll be confused when you see it. So do you think you could hide these within like...
That's what I'm asking.
In plain sight. Like if I wanted to send the shrug emoji to someone who I was trying to... Let's make a specific scenario. Someone's annoying me.
You could... Okay.
Because they typically are. How would you send an emoji spell to this person that hid in plain sight your true intention?
You know how people used to rickroll someone by sending them a wall of text, but the first word of every sentence was...
Yes. Never.
I would do it like that.
Yeah. Oh, ooh. So what if the sentence was the emojis? So it could be like, shrug, I don't know what's going on today. And then the next one would be like an explosion because I want them to get so confused that they explode.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
But as you said, it's more than emoji. I just this aspect of it fascinated me because I love emojis. Listen, I'm an old lady. I like having visual cues of how I'm supposed to feel when I read a text message.
My sister is constantly just sending me emojis. She is not on the internet, so I don't know what she thinks she's doing, but I can never parse what her message is.
She's spellcrafting you.
Well, I never know what the fuck she's trying to say. I have to just say, look, I don't speak emoji. Just send words.
I'm going to send you emojis.
She's not that much younger than me, and she does not have a Facebook or an Instagram account. She refuses to download apps on her phone. It's not like she's a child and I'm just an old person. I don't know where this even came from.
I'm going to send you an emoji, and I want you to... This is a whole sentence I'm having with you.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's really short, but...
Holy shit, look how big his dick is. Now, based on that, audience, what do you think the two emojis were that she sent?
Tell us on Facebook. Okay. All right, go on. Go on
on the
with
shrug. On the shrug one.
On the shrug thread, we're gonna have questions about this episode specifically.
Based on what I just said, holy shit, that's a big dick. Which two emojis do you think Charlye just sent me?
The winner gets a digital hug.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Even from me, and I don't generally do that.
Aww. So outside of the realm of emoji, when I first heard of digital witchcraft, it was way back in the day. I kind of already touched on it about like looking up different kinds of witches you could be. And it was like, you're a hedge witch if you do this. You're a kitchen witch if you do this, and I was very like, oh, I have to find that label. I have to fit within a specific category. But I saw, digital, and I heard some people like referring to what they at the time were calling technology, I think, witchcraft, tech witchcraft, cyber. That's what it was. It was cyber witchcraft. And I was like,
everything was cyber back in the day.
Cyber. Do you remember?
Did you have cyber sex?
I was going to say, do you remember in the AOL chat room?
Yes. Yup. I even remember the person I did it with.
Oh.
FTW Warner. Shout out to you, homie.
Somewhere they're listening and they're like, you sent them back through time and space.
And shout out to Smapty, who I think I taught to finger someone.
You know what? Great.
Via the chat room.
Wonderful. What a great time to be alive it was.
ASL?
Oh God. Oh my God. I remember I played this game called Habbo Hotel, and I didn't know at the time, but it was a primarily like British game. So people were walking around and they'd walk up to you and they'd be like, "Are you fit?" And I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" Anyway, okay, yes. So, okay, back on. Sorry.
So, this is just going to be the way the episode goes, everyone. We literally woke up 30 minutes before we recorded.
So for cyber, not SEX, cyber witchcraft, which is all I'll refer to it as from now on. Thank you very much. I was very confused as to what that would even be and how one would even do it. But I did have very cool, like, mental images of like very like a Matrix style, like apartment, and somebody's like in their trench coat and they're doing cyber witchcraft. Which I had no idea.
In their trench coat at their computer.
Just in their own home. Slick back hair, trench coat.
In PJs, but a trench coat.
Of course, yes. What would you consider to be digital witchcraft? Because I'm still sitting here and I don't really have an idea of what it would be.
Okay. This might be too loud. Have you ever done... You didn't really do YouTube before.
Not
that
really.
I know of. So I've done a couple
I've watched it
online.
Okay.
Like recorded them and put them up.
Sure.
They did not work. But I've seen people say, I'm doing a spell right now to blah, blah, blah. And this reel or this story is the spell.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that does anything? They don't work for me. If I'm doing it as a thing, as a presentation, it doesn't work.
That's interesting, because to me, the only thing that I think that I have filmed and shared is when I was like crafting an oil to use or making some kind of blend. So it was a physical thing that I think like the properties carried through, but I've never done a more intangible spell. But I have come across those before that are like, listen, I think there's a difference between the ones where they're like, hey, this is the spell. And the ones, you ever like, you're swiping and you come across one that's like, if you come across this is meant for you. And I'm like,
oh God,
that's the algorithm, buddy. I don't know about that. I think I interacted.
Think those are real.
You know, but here's the thing. I think they could be. I don't think that just making it invalidates anything that you're putting towards it. I don't think it was meant to find me, but I do believe that you are putting something into it. Or maybe you're just saying that so it gets views. I don't know.
I don't feel like it is. I do think it's strictly for views.
Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes you can tell, you know. Also, you know, this does make me think of way early on, and I've heard some people say this, there was this concept of like, don't share your spellcraft because it won't,
because of the 4 pillars.
Extrapolate.
To know, to will, to dare, and to keep silent.
Oh. Now,
emphasis on the last one.
Oh.
You keep quiet about it until it works.
I went to a retreat and they were talking about the power of essentially doing and not speaking about it, you know, and this kind of branched into a more real life term because like I can be very much like this. I was going to say, we all know someone like this, but it's probably me, who's always like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to travel to this place. And they're always shitting out plans, but doing the plans is a whole different ballgame, you know?
Oh, I'll start it. I just won't finish
I'll start it. But there was this idea of like, it's like when Lil Wayne said real G's move in silence like lasagna. It's basically like, don't talk about the things you're going to do. Let your completed actions speak for themselves. You heard me.
Don't talk
real
about
G's,
it, be about it. I've never even
don't talk about it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Real G's move in silence like lasagna.
I feel like that might be a misheard lyric.
That's that I bet you $1,100,000.
I'm not saying it is, but it sounds like it should be.
There's G's in lasagna
because lasagna makes sound. Oh.
The joy I have right now from this. The joy I have from watching this.
Homie, because I was going to be like, lasagna does make a sound. And it sounds a lot like macaroni and cheese.
Very literal. It makes a very...
I'm a literal person. I have autism.
I feel like we're both being opposite ends of that spectrum, brother.
When we were doing spellcrafting or whatever it was for the live, or not the live, the bonus or something, and you were like, wow, you took it literally. And I'm like, how else would you take it?
We love a neurodivergent queen. Okay. Sorry, that blasted my head through my ass.
Anyway,
digital witchcraft. Go on.
Keep silent. Don't tell everybody what you're doing. You do it. And maybe not even then, because if you're cursing somebody, I'm not just... Okay, actually.
Okay.
Pause.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to make someone's life unpleasant, sure, I may tell them I'm going to curse them. And just let their brain do the rest and not actually put any energy into doing it.
Yeah. Which in itself, I believe, can be spellcraft. It's a very lazy one. Or I don't even want to say lazy. It's a very easy one.
Low energy.
But you can
let them curse themselves.
Run away. Yeah. Yeah. Just plant that little seed, toss that grenade, and walk away.
When something bad happens to me, you'll think it.
When something bad happens to me.
When something bad happens to you, think back to this moment.
Yeah.
And then you do some kind of little hand gesture or whisper maybe like something.
Yeah.
Or you whisper like the first line of your favorite book, but say it real quietly so they can't hear it, and you just mouth it, and they don't know what you're saying. It could be anything. Whisper.
Real cheese move in silence like lasagna.
Yeah.
But like really quiet. Yeah.
That is such a good line now that I understand it. That's a really good line.
And I think that there can be, now I'm not saying that there's no power in showing your spells, because there are some people that I work with that they seem to truly thrive in this like digital space and showing their wares and, kind of, I think it can be a truly positive thing, but I also think sometimes people can accidentally perhaps step on their own foot a little bit by showing every spell that we're doing, and putting a lot out there, because even if, I mean, I hate to say this because I sound like a conspiracy, like I'm afraid of I am afraid of everything, but it's like, if you have any kind of people watching what you're doing, there's an element there of whether they mean to or not. Sometimes people can add their own energy to it. Like maybe they watch it and they're like, that's stupid. Well, that is now energy that's attached to that thing that you put out there, And I think unless you're being very intentional about like protection and keeping that negative aspect away, when people watch these things, they could become, I don't know, I hate saying this, but like they could become jealous. There's that whole evil eye thing, and there's a spider on me. Get off me. My house is made of bugs.
I'm sorry I've blessed you with a bunch of spiders lately.
You did. I have nothing but spiders. Did I tell you about the spiders in the shower?
That would make me die.
It was awful. One of them just pounced on the other one, and it was so scary.
I wonder if they were banging and you just don't understand spider language.
I looked it up because I was like, they're fighting or they're fucking. But the way that it happened, and then the way that one of them dragged the other one away afterwards.
Here's the thing, though. Female spiders very often act like praying mantises and will kill and eat the male.
I was you know what? I saw that option and I was like, good for you. I hope that's what happened. But
we lost a really expensive tarantula that way.
Oh. She just ate his butt?
She's
got
like,
into
hey. Him? They do this thing called drumming where they like thump their front. I don't remember if it's pedipalps or front legs, but they drum to attract the other one.
They're like, hey.
And she's like,
I'm into it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then stabbed him. And we were like, fuck.
I love movies like that. Yeah. Sorry, for context, since we're just
there's $200 just gone.
I did a gross thing. This is gross. I'm sorry, but I left 2 washcloths in my shower on the floor because I had 2 very lazy days where I just kind of washcloth and then chucked it in the corner. And I live in the country. And so the next time I'm taking a shower, I look down and a wolf spider, a striped wolf spider, not the big chunky hairy ones built like tanks, but like they're a little more, they look like nursery spiders if you're familiar. I'm talking about spiders. Sorry. The face that you're making makes me think I should have, I'll put a warning. Here's a warning. I'm going to talk about spiders. Anyway, 2 of them crawled on top of this thing because they like moist shit. And one of them saw the other one and just went like bouncing off the ring, the ropes at a WWE match.
Good
anyway,
for that one.
I'm probably going to cut that out because I don't want to freak people out talking about spiders. But let's talk about digital witchcraft some more.
Yeah, I already lost to some people over on Patreon. Let's not do it here. One thing that I consider part of this is a digital grimoire, Book of Shadows. I do not keep a physical one. I barely keep one. When I write things, though, it goes on the computer.
Okay. Does that count? Because I struggle with keeping things digitally. I always think it's the cleaner way to do things, but instead I have 24 notebooks half used with spell stuff written in them.
2 lines,
and I always think,
two pages.
It just, and that's it. And then I put that notebook to the side, forget about it, and then I find it 4 years later, and I'm like, why did I write a spell to bless chicken nuggies? Yeah.
Yeah. How much do you think that faith goes into this sort of thing? Same as everything else, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say about as much as anything else. Like, because I think that we spoke to someone on a live, and I didn't ask them if we could like talk about it, so I won't say everything. But we talked to somebody who was it the live or was it a stream? It was a live stream, Charlie. Anyway,
talking about cognitive?
Yes. Yeah.
It was a live.
Okay, yeah. So we talked to somebody on a recent live who was talking about do you remember the actual terminology they used? Cognitive
okay. Witchcraft? Mm-hmm. Cognitive knowledge?
And they were talking about...
That's like a ATM machine, cognitive knowledge. I don't think it's cognitive knowledge.
A PIN number? An ATM machine?
Cognitive knowledge.
They were... My brain smarts in my brain. They were talking about their mind palace, if you will. And there was more to it, but I know that we touched on the mind palace part of it. And they were... although focusing inward on themselves, so they are not a computer, they are a human, they were still using like computer terminology to help this magic and help their understanding of things sort of spread. And one of the things they said is like a virus, like a computer virus, how that spreads out. You know, and if they were working, I don't want to put words in their mouth and say they were doing anything to anyone else, but anything they were trying to like spread out into the universe, they would picture as this kind of like computery virusy thing, which again is just bringing up the black and green matrix numbers scrolling for me. Dude, I loved in those movies when they would just all gather around the screen looking at the ones and zeros, but they were like watching it like it was like they all TV. Understood it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They were like, whoa, look what happened. And I'm like, that's wild.
Stop.
I wish I could do that. Quit it. No, just get a TV.
Do you think you can curse somebody with a meme?
100%. 100%. There's 2 different ways, though. I think that you have cursed me with your meme craft. And giving me uneasy feelings, which, hey, is that all a curse is, you know?
I don't know what you're talking about right now, so this is even more interesting.
Just any of them, all of them.
Oh, wait, like that thing with the weird tube sock boobs.
I hate that. I was going to say, you know what I didn't think, but I think falls into this realm. Your grandpa and I, kids, sit down. We have something to tell you. Your grandpa and I, we have obsessive compulsive disorder. So take a minute to breathe that in. I'm going to need the shock to wear off. Listen. However, one of the ways that this manifests within me, it's not the same for everyone, but when I see like those old chain emails, as an example, send this to 50 friends or else this bad thing will happen. Or controversially, or on the other side of that, send this to so many people and this good thing will happen to you. But if you don't, the good thing won't happen to you. Well, those hit me very strangely. And there is this logical side that exists in your brain when you have obsessive compulsive disorder. And I guess anybody who struggles with this kind of thing, but like, you know that that's not how it works. You know that that's not going to happen. But then there's this part of you that doesn't understand that. There's a part of you that in a very almost childlike way is just like, well, this bad thing's going to happen. And then you can think about that so much that you almost bring that upon yourself. That really haunted me until one day I was scrolling Reddit in the OCD r/OCD memes, which is a great place to just go blow off some steam if you want to meet people who feel similar feelings to you. They put a picture and it was this fat ass wiener dog. And it said, this is the protection dog. He's protecting you from those. I forgot how they phrased it, but the gist was you don't have to save it to your phone. Just by seeing him, he is with you forever and he is protecting you against any of those types of things. So now, and that has actually fucking worked for me. It has actually
Send
worked
me that
because
meme.
I shall. Because I have scrolled past things before that said, vaguely gave me weird feelings in some way or another. And then I remember I have the protection dog and he's out there on the cyberspace somewhere protecting me from that. And it has really fucking helped. While you speak, I'm going to find this.
Okay, good. Post it in the group, actually. Again, no explanation.
No context.
While she does that, I'm just going to remind you that we have a merch store, and I just put in the Tell Us About Your Balls shirt yesterday.
I realize I can't just write protection dog on Google because I get a whole other kind of, I get a bunch of, do you need a canine for your personal protection?
Oh my God, yeah. Online classes. Can those be witchcraft? Or is it just telling you how to do witchcraft?
I think there's a couple of layers to it because I think on the surface, it's just, it can tell you how. I also very believe that if you are the practitioner of this, I think that you can put a little charmy charm on it to be like, hey, this is going to go out there and it's going to find, well, I don't want to say it's going to find the people it needs to find, but listen, if you are somebody who makes witchcraft your business, you know, which is traditionally, as long as there's been witches, we've been doing it to make a living. Okay. It's not a, you know, don't freak out about it. I think that you could perhaps put a little something on that video that's like prosperity in some way. I don't know how that would manifest for you. Maybe it's they go check out the stuff you're selling, or maybe they just click the little affiliate link to just make the algorithm number go up, and then you get more eyes on your stuff. I do think that you can enchant, if you will, a video like that. Now, I'm not sure if I could sit here into the camera and say, I am sending you a healing spell specifically. I don't know how I feel about that. Which is actually
like distance Reiki.
Well, I was going to say, I have had people do that, but I think that was more of an intentional thing for me versus these, I don't know, to say TikToks that are like, if you're seeing this, here's a healing spell. Cause it's like that, you didn't send that specifically to me, you know, like you didn't have me in mind, my energy in mind when you did that. I don't know. It gets very complicated for me. Ooh.
I have a bunch of runes in my banners in my shops on Etsy and on my website.
Okay.
And they are hidden, but they're still there. And they are to protect
I'm gonna go
me
find
from
them.
They're okay. I'm going to tell you what they are. They're to protect me from people who might come steal my IP. And to make people who come to the website want to buy my stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. I should also put
and that's what I'm talking about.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, I believe, yes, I do believe that is a form of digital witchcraft that I believe in. I personally put stock in that.
Do you think if I also put something on there to promote prosperity and abundance for the people who come, so they'll be able to buy my stuff?
Huh.
Which I only just thought
wins.
Of. Yeah.
Everybody wins with that.
I think I'm going to change it to do that.
Now that goes directly against what I was just saying about...
Yeah, exactly.
You have to have someone particular in mind.
Because they had to come to... Nobody comes across my pages unless they're actively searching.
Trying to. Sure. I sent you that. It's not the original dog one, but someone did make one like it. So, you know what? Good enough.
Aww.
I'm going to post this in the group.
That's a sweet, happy baby. And the reason I thought of the classes thing is because Amy Blackthorne just started a school thing because I'm not going to go too much into why, but they just did. Go to their Facebook page and ask if you want to. But they just started doing school SKOOL. Have you seen those ads where they're like, we want people to come teach witchcraft, and they are. They're and the class they're teaching is botanical shadow work, which sounds cool.
First of all, yeah, that sounds fucking great. But like also, it rides that line between it's teaching you something physical, you know, so you can then take that knowledge. And there's this greater aspect of digital witchcraft where we are now able to share all kinds of, you know, practices. We can learn about other people's practices. You know, we can share, hey, here's this thing that I do. You know, it's more accessible than it has been because of the digital space.
AI.
Oh. Okay.
I don't think an AI spell would work. If you type in, help me write a spell to XYZ, I don't think it's going to work.
Okay. Why not? I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying I would like to know
it won't for me because I have a blisteringly hateful rage about AI, generative AI. And I think all that fiery hate is going to blow away anything useful that could have done.
It's going to stand in the way. Sure. Well, to me, and if we can look at it, and this is difficult because again, there's a lot of feelings around AI, but if we look at it objectively as we can, we ask that question about like, well, I remember a couple of years before AI really like popped off, I was talking to somebody and I was like, well, you know, it's never going to be able to write a song. Like, you know, and they were like, yes, it will. And I was like, yeah, but it's not going to be like good, you know, like it's not going to be like the same that a human could do. And they're like, no, yeah, it will. And I couldn't wrap my head around that. And I had such this emotional attachment to the idea that like, no, it has to have a piece of like humanity in it. It needs to have a human that has experienced these emotions to know what that means to go into the art. But they were like, sure, but it's going to know what those emotions feel like, essentially.
It's going to steal those emotions.
It's going to know these things, you know, and then I was like, well, what else is it going to be able to do that we are supposed to be the only things in the whole world that can do this because we are big fat brains, you know?
Be a partner, be an emotional partner, even though they all seem to be incredibly harmful in the relationships they are in based on what I'm reading.
Yeah, I forget the service, but there's a whole service. I mean, I know there's several, but there is one that I saw particular interests on, where you go and you kind of like formulate your romantic partner in the AI space and train them.
Partner.
Yes. But that aside, my point is, does it have to have a piece of that humanity of your heart and your soul in it to like create this spell? Is that the reasoning that you think it won't work? Or is it just the I hate AI, so therefore that's going to counteract?
It goes into thievery. If you steal things, are they going to work? Or is the universe going to come lean on you a little bit because you're stealing?
See,
but then you get into the whole
morality
limiz thing. Like, what if you're stealing because you have no other option?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I'm not going to use it, mainly because there's a data center that's going to drill into my aquifer that my well is on, and I'm going to have to not speak anymore.
Sure. Sure. I know exactly where you're going. Yeah, and there's 101 million other reasons to, we're not ignoring that. But just sticking to would it work? Just a theoretical question, would it work? If you typed in to ChatGPT, whatever, whoever is popular right now.
Help me write a money spell.
Write me a money spell. And then it said, okay, take a bay leaf and do this and that and the other, and you follow it to a T. What I'm saying is it any different? And I know it is different, but I mean, emotionally,
than just asking in a Facebook group?
Than asking and following the steps that a person would give you.
I wouldn't do either one of those things, so I don't know.
See, that's the thing. Even if I just like looked up a spell and somebody was like, do these things, even if I followed those instructions to a T and it was coming from another human, it still has to have a part of me in it. I still have to work up that intention or whatever you want to call it for it to work for me. For me. You hear that? For me. Everybody's different, okay? Don't use AI to do your spells, though. That's dumb. You're smarter than that.
That goes into this belief that I hold, that is, if you lie or are not honest, then the universe thinks, okay, well, what do you want? Because you said one thing over here, but that's not what you actually meant. I can't trust anything you do, so I'm not going to do anything. And if you're stealing, that's a form of dishonesty. AI is thievery.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
because anytime
for me, I know it won't work because those are my beliefs. And I hope that you heard it. I hope all of you heard it, and it affects your subconscious in the same way.
Now, see, how much of this is OCD now?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's that virus.
Well, because I'm also
That's cognitive witchcraft, baby.
There it is, baby. Because like
Probably
also
not.
You can do the similar thing with, I know this whole episode is supposed to be about digital witchcraft, and I feel like we've veered into like morality, but like what if you're
going on an hour? We haven't even talked about Skyrim yet.
God.
It could be a long, juicy one.
What if you're long? That's not what I meant to say. What if you're lying to protect, much as you would steal because you had to? What if you are in a situation where you have to lie because life is messy and sometimes that happens?
I don't know. Is the universe autistic?
Are they taking it? Well, yes. But are they taking it literally? Or is it like, I understand? See, that's why I'm always trying to be explicitly clear when I'm at least talking like in my head with magic or whatever. I'm just like, okay, look, I'm saying this because I want the, and I'm going to.
No monkey paw.
Yeah. Dude, the loophole thing scares me. Dude, I could.
Yeah,
listen,
me too.
There's an episode of, No, that's not what it was. It was like a TikTok series. I don't remember. There's this series where this guy has like a genie come to him and grant wishes, but he screws it up. So he keeps trying to like be more and more specific until finally his wish is like this multi-page book almost that's like, okay, I want $1 million, but when I say that, I mean US American dollar. And like he has to keep adding like stipulations until finally like there's no loophole. That gets me every time because I'm like, oh fuck, it's gonna find a loophole. So I actually, and interestingly, I found, if I can even show you, it's somewhere. I was digging through these notebooks that I was talking about, and I found a spell where I wrote something like no loophole. Like I wrote a spell to tag on 2 things that was essentially like, and look, you can't find a loophole in this. And I wish I could find it because that's so crazy that just came up, and it was something I wrote years ago, and it just popped up right before we recorded this episode. But do yourself an anti-loophole spell. Like a knot spell, maybe? Tie a really tight knot. And then tie a couple of other knots around it so it's just really sealed in there. Make an infinity scarf because there's no loop there. You can't, because there ain't no end to an infinity scarf, baby.
It's time for me to take my meds.
Oh. And with that, we want you to tell us what your experience with digital witchcraft is over on our Facebook page.
On the Shruggy post.
On the Shruggy post, which I was surprised already has like 5 comments.
Look, I forgot that we have people responding to my question.
Oh, well then let's do that.
Danae says, I like to make sigils, activate them, and use them under social media images, also on websites and anything that's digital communication.
For me, it's the eggplant emoji. That's I'm tagging this with my energy.
Oh.
From now on, anyway.
Kisara says, I like to study with waterfall music or to sleep to rain sounds. I made a multi-layered track with soothing, healing Hertz waves buried under the water sounds. When I worked in a crystal metaphysical shop, I did the same thing with lo-fi music to uplift the space. I also have the ADHD storage of notes on my phone of things I want to try to remember and usually don't. And there's various spells and mantras in there.
We didn't even touch on the aspect of like music and hertz and stuff like that, which, listen, there is a guided meditation that you just put some binaural beats to. Is it on
you
Patreon,
guiding the meditation?
Yeah.
It is.
We should put a little snippet of it right here.
Oh, yeah.
The door of the spaceship opens and a radiant being steps out. This being is unlike anything you have ever seen before. Its skin glows with a golden, otherworldly luminescence, and its eyes hold a wisdom that transcends time and space. But what catches your attention the most is the being's backside. Each muscular cheek moves with a grace and elegance that mesmerizes you, drawing your gaze like a magnet. If you enjoyed that, you can hear that whole meditation over on our Patreon. Anyway, that's digital witchcraft, baby. That's digital witchcraft, baby. Go on. There's more comments.
Ashley says that they don't do it as often as analog witchcraft, but yes, I posted a story to Instagram for just my friends who I trust just yesterday of an intention candle and put an emoji slider. So whoever slides the emoji puts energy towards my intention.
Cute.
I love that.
That's a good idea because that's mixing.
Yes.
Sometimes we have this idea of like we have to be 100% something. We have to be 100% a cyber witch or 100% a real life and or analog witch, which I like that term, analog. But there can be a mix of both. You're mixing in that physical movement of the slide.
The fact that you have to take action and not just think, oh yeah, I wish him good things, whatever, next.
Yeah,
you have to actually take an action.
That's really cool.
Yes. And finally, Melissa, shout out Melissa, says, I have a simple
Sweet Melissa, sorry.
I have a simple Rider-Waite Tarot app on my phone that is cosmically attuned.
Dude,
I had to make sure I was reading that right.
Comically.
Which says comically/cosmically. I think about the amount of energy exchanged between myself and my phone, and it makes complete sense to me that it could be like that. I'm very reverent and intentional about using the app because it tends to slap me in the face if I were to do something like open it on the toilet or at a red light. Scary face. Emoji. Just hypothetically, of course. For a friend. The same friend who cracked her screen protector one time when the app read her to filth.
That's so interesting because, like, I've had experiences with decks, as I think a lot of us have, that, like, sometimes they just feel hollow. And you're kind of like, this isn't it. But then sometimes you get a deck that's like, this knows my soul. Mm-hmm. So I guess it can come from anywhere.
And that is it for that. We can move on to your fave.
So we're going to move into a section where we talk about the digital witchcraft that I do practice.
I'm excited
if you can even count it. And also this one is for, listen, if you're sick to death of hearing about Skyrim, it doesn't have to just be, this isn't just, this is Charlye talks about Skyrim for 4 hours, but we are keeping it to a magical perspective, if you will. Over on my podcast, It's a Whole Thing, there is an episode coming out hopefully today where we're flipping the script and I'm going to be interviewed by Kim on my podcast about Skyrim, and that'll be the more general, less like magically focused one. But yeah, I've made some questions and I have so much here in my notes, and I hope I do this right. I'm scared. Let's go.
When did you first play Skyrim? Skyrim or Skyrim?
Either or. The emphasis can go anywhere that you would like. However, I will say this actually goes into the first time I ever played it, because Macy's brother, Rustin, friend of the show, Rustin, you've heard about him. You know him, you love him. He always played games, it seemed like, before I did, because like he just did, and then it's like I was almost like wait on his recommendation or whatever. And I have decision paralysis a lot of times. So there was another game that came out around the same time. It was a Fallout game, and I had a boyfriend at this time. And I was like, should I get Fallout New Vegas or Skyrim? Both in my top 10, 5, 3 even favorite games of all time, by the way. But I was like, should I get New Vegas or should I get Skyrim? And he said to me, he looked me in my eyeballs and he said to me, I don't know if you would like Skyrim because it's all about magic and dragons and stuff. And the part of me knew then that this wasn't meant, he didn't know who I was, and this wasn't meant to be. And I think about it all the time when I'm like scrolling, thinking about what Skyrim tattoo I'm going to put on my body. I'm like, remember that guy who said that you wouldn't like,
that helped you know yourself better.
Rustin was like, I'm really liking this game, then he came over and we did what we had done so many times before. He ranted at me about a game until I was like, fuck it, let's go to GameStop. So we purchased it. Also, funnily enough, he told me that just days prior to this happening, he had only ever seen the name in text. So when he went to purchase the game, he went up to the counter and he was like, can I get a copy of Skyrim? And the guy was like, Skyrim? Yeah, so you can call it Skyrim, you can call it Skyrim, you can call it Skyrim. I don't give a shit. I first played it in, I don't know, it came out in 2011, so probably late 2011. Let me make sure. Let me check my facts here.
What was happening in your life at that time?
Oh. I had just gotten through massage therapy school. I didn't know what was going on in my life. I had changed trajectories. It wasn't too long into into this moment that me and that guy did break up. And so like there was like a moving back home aspect.
I didn't know you lived with him.
Yeah. He's the same one that we left the house, and when we came back, there was a styrofoam bowl full of bodily fluid in the middle of the living room. I've told that somewhere before.
Not to me.
Okay. Yeah, we lived in a kind of a little rough area, and this guy would never lock his doors. I don't know. Listen, I was in a weird place. Anyway, we left to go somewhere. We were gone for a couple hours. We come back in the middle of the living room. There was a styrofoam bowl, of which we did not have any in the house. So they found it or they brought it. I don't know. Somebody came into the home, pee-peed into this bowl, and was gone.
That's a curse, my brother.
If I would have practiced at the time, I would have been probably a lot more. I don't know. This was before my OCD was purely contamination based, so
or a meth head.
It didn't kill me.
It may have been a meth head.
Yeah, it was definitely somebody who was struggling in some way. Because you know what? There was plenty of PlayStations and Xboxes and computers and everything.
Exactly.
Not touched. They
That's
just came
a
in.
Curse.
They relieved themselves.
Peed in your house, but not in the carpet. Into
but thank
a
God
bowl.
they put it into a bowl. You know what? How nice of them for not doing it on the carpet. I don't want to think about it too much.
Okay.
I want to move on from
Me
that
neither,
moment in my life.
Well, okay,
but my point is,
you graduated school.
Yeah.
You moved out of this dude's house.
Yeah. I was looking for some escapism, and this provided that to me, being a Lord of the Rings girly and a fantasy girly, and just sort of, and this, I mean, let's not act like this was like an indie game. This is a huge game. This is like one of the biggest games of all time,
Even
and I jumped. Yeah, I mean, it's just out there, and I jumped on it. And the thing that surprised me about it, though, is its longevity. Because there's only a few games that, for me, last the test of time like that. Anyway, I can already picture when I'm editing this episode, it assigns a color to your voice and a color to my voice, and I just know my color is just gonna, from that point where we started talking about Skyrim, it's just gonna be purple or whatever.
I am now in interview mode, so
okay, let's go. Yeah.
How did it feel to play this compared to other games?
So at the time, I was playing a lot of games. I was playing more games than I do now, most likely, because I had the disposable income of a young, careless, early 20s something who was also now living at home, and has big girl money for the first time. Anyway, so I don't know. I guess at the moment, it didn't feel that different than the other games that I loved as much. I knew, hey, this is a good game and I like it. But the obsession didn't come until later. And then, of course, now I have this whole side of my life to thank because of this game. That is another reason that it ties in very deeply for me. But at the time, no, I was just like, hey, this is a fucking sick game. You get to shout wolves off of cliffs and stuff. That's tight.
I'm excited to see this.
Yeah. It was interesting. I know that some people at the time, they kind of looked down on people who jumped on the Skyrim wave because it's a part of a series. It's the Elder Scrolls series, of which there were many games before this. So the people who played the most recent game, called Oblivion, were now sort of like, oh, look at all these new people who don't know what they're talking about. And I was one of those. So I was kind of like, I still like it. Yeah.
Name 3 songs they play.
Yeah. You like Skyrim? Name 3 dragons. Yeah.
I actually didn't know it was part of Elder Scrolls. I knew Elder Scrolls was a thing, and I knew Skyrim was a thing, and I didn't realize they were the same
Marbles,
thing.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was the same thing until I was looking it up to buy it last week. Or whenever the hell I bought it.
Yeah, it's just part of the same universe. The 6th one's going to come out, I don't know, in 14 calendar years. And when it comes out, you won't see me for 2 years. It'll be fine. Yeah. But it's...
That is just going to be me on the podcast for a while. Maybe Macy will come back.
She'll have to step in for a little while. Because this will be me trying to I'll be like, Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Ha ha ha. Funny, Jim. Yeah.
So you're getting deeper into this game. When did it stop being a game?
Okay. When it became a problem.
Oh.
In 2017, I think. I don't really know. There was just, there's private stuff going on. Life happens. And I leaned into escapism really hard, which is what I do when I perhaps struggle a little bit. And I started playing a self-insert character. Now, I'm sure if you're a book reader, you know what this is. What? Yes. Yeah.
So?
But that's fine, because that's how I like to explore these characters in different situations that are me. Like, what would I do in this situation? Whatever. But I really leaned hard into the role play of it, and I was, like, this character has to stop and eat because she hasn't eaten since the last. And this was before a lot of the mods that do that automatically were like put on, or at least I knew about them. And listen, you could say I was having a hard time, but I did explore a part of the game that I had never explored really before, which is the picking of the herbs and the alchemy part of the game and making of potions and stuff like that. And I remember having this very specific thought, which is so funny to me now. I was like, what if this was real? That would be so cool if herbs were like, did stuff like this and you could just brew potions. And then I stopped and I was like, wait. This is what my mom's been talking about my whole life. Hold on. And I shorted out.
This is the moment where they do that zoom close up in the movie where you stay in the background goes zoop.
Yeah. Ooh, that Hitchcock pull, I think,
and
where it's like
they play that
and far away.
Jesus music.
Yeah. Except for me, what it felt like more at the time is, when they put a fisheye lens real close to the character's face and everything looks like... That's what it felt like to me. I started looking into the crossovers because there are a lot of our real world herbs and mushrooms and stuff in the game. And I was like, oh, hold on, wait. I know lavender was the first one I thought of. Lavender is calming and restful. I remember my mom's, talking about that. And also I had been through massage therapy at school at this point. So I knew a little bit about like what essential oils were supposed to do. What I had just never made that like connection. So I started looking into other things that existed in this video game world that I liked to use to make health potions. And I got them for myself because the more I read about them, I was like, they have like health potion properties in real life. I'm going to get some juniper berries. I'm going to, do this and do that. And I started buying but I just became really interested in herbalism, and I started talking to my mom about it, and asking her questions and essential oils and stuff like that. And of course, as you guys probably all know, when you open that door, more starts to pour in. So I would be on websites looking at herbs, but then there would be like a related article about, and I started seeing like witchcraft, like this floating around. And then I went to visit my mom once and she had this big apothecary full of essential oils. And she's like, man, do I like essential oils or am I a witch? And when she said that, something in my brain went, zzz. I was like, yeah, no, yeah, I think so. Which is why I kind of jokingly say, without that experience, without that string of experiences, I would not have given a shit when I saw the Witchfest poster for Fort Worth at the time. I would have not have sent it to Macy. She maybe would never have opened up to me about her in her own way experiencing things. I would have never said, look, I'm looking into this. We would have never gone to Witchfest. In some way, I'm not saying that, eventually she would not have made her way here on her own, or anything like that. I'm saying for my part, I would not be here in the same way that
and
I am.
And the universe is like, it's all coming together.
It's that guy from behind the tree, like,
yep. That's the universe saying they're doing it.
And I think about who I would be, if I just was like, you know what, I'm going to play Fallout instead. Would I be like some crazy prepper? Probably. But this is what happened. I leaned into my fantasy girl era that's lasted 30 years. Yeah.
What else besides the potion? Let's say mechanics. What mechanics in Skyrim feel witchy?
First of all, the big one here that we've already touched on is alchemy. So alchemy in the Elder Scrolls universe is combining these natural substance for their magical properties. That's a very on-the-nose one. But a lot of the game loop, if you will, if you play games, there's this concept of a game loop, which is like the thing that you do over and over that also progresses the game. So for me, a game loop would be going out, collecting herbs, bringing them back, making a potion, selling that potion for money, buying better armor, to then go out to scarier places to get scarier ingredients to make potions worth more. And then I get better armor, and that goes on until, whatever. So, but a lot of these game loops, to me, they have ritual behavior kind of baked into them. And there's certain things in the game that are witchy on the nose, like crafting the potions. But I also think returning to these sacred places that you find in the game. One of my favorite stories, and I hate that it's my favorite because it's very sad, but it touches me very deeply. There was a thread on Reddit that a guy, he posted a picture of a certain spot in Skyrim, a well-known little area that you can find, and he said, my wife loved Skyrim, and she played all the time, and she passed away. So he was like, this was her favorite spot. And then people started commenting pictures of them going there in their game, finding that spot.
That's gonna make me
and
cry.
Like leaving flowers. I know. And it was like, and then it became this massive collage of, and now it's like this thing, like when you pass, this spot. Oh, I needed that actually. If you didn't hear it, Kim's phone went off and it interrupted like me probably getting emotional. So I'm very thankful for it. But yeah, you can like make your little campfires and travel in a way that feels significant. Like, yeah, if you're blasting through the game, you can fast travel, but like the concept of slowing down and playing the game and noticing the little things is very mirrored in something that I'm trying to do in my own life, which is, slow down and breathe and look around you and see what's around you intentionally. And that, to me, that feels very witchcraft coded. But plus, Skyrim also has covens and hags and witches and hargravens and magic users wandering around. There's like wilderness magic. So there's the whole College of Winterhold, which is the College of Magic, which is a whole school of thing you can learn. You can choose to fight with your actual Jesus laser hands, which, by the way, was a character Rustin actually had. He had a character that he named Jesus H. Christ. And he walked around and he was
Jesus H. laser hands.
I do. That would have been great. He was only allowed to shoot laser beams or shoot lightning out of his hands.
Oh, good.
But yeah, there's it's so very magic is very real and tangible in this world.
How does collecting herbs in the game relate to real magical practice?
So that thing where you find something that you like within magic and then you're like, man, I think I like rocks. I think I'll get like an amethyst. Start off with an amethyst. And oh, hey, you know what is also cool? Smoky quartz. And then you know what else is cool? And then suddenly you're this bitch here with 14 fucking rocks on you. Look at you go.
I don't even have enough hands for them all. Then you have like this. In fact, you're just at your recording desk. Oh, that's chapstick. I can't even pick them all up.
Look at. Yeah. So that That's what happens. There's this really funny universal experience that happens in Skyrim where you have a carrying weight. Kind of like if you've played D&D or any other game before, you pick up shit. You just can't carry endless amounts of stuff. And me, somebody who plays as this like alchemy whatever, I don't have a lot of armor or heavy maces and whatever on me, but what I do is I pick up every little flower and stone that I see until finally I pluck one little piece of lavender and I can no longer move because I have become too heavy to move. So like
You're out of
I think that our obsessions in real life can bleed, it's life can influence art in that way, that you can, some people who post Skyrim stuff, they'll open the door to their house and their house will be full of cheese wheels. You can find it's great.
That's a Taurus.
I'll show it to you. That's a Taurus. Dude, that's what we do. We need to make the zodiac.
Oh
no.
Maybe that's how I'll play.
Oh no. Oh, you're the Taurus. That's what. Yeah, and you.
Is there
you have
a bull person?
There is some of the Daedra, which are like the gods. I believe there is like a bull man type. There's orcs, which are not quite bulls, but they got tusks. Listen, we do what we can with what we have. When I stream, there is going to be an element that so on Twitch, you can use bits, which is like you buy bits and then that's like an actual currency exchange if you want to support your creators. But if you can't, and a lot of people like can't or don't want to, I have channel points. Well, everybody has channel points, but you can also accrue channel points and then spend them to make me do certain things in the game. Like I have one called, you can spend like 100 bits or you can spend like 10,000 dragon bones. I forget the actual thing that I assigned, but it's drop my weapon. For 5 minutes, I have to drop my weapon. I can't use it, right? So stuff like that. I want to do one called the Taurus where I have to just, for 5 minutes, grab every scrap of food that I can find. You've inspired me so.
Oh my God, this is going to be fun as hell. I can't wait to watch this.
And I'm only gonna get more and more ideas from you guys. So I hope it gets better and better. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Also, Charlye sent me questions, y'all. I do not know these things that I'm asking about. Like, what makes the shrines or standing stones, etc., feel sacred?
Okay, so actually, when you said the Taurus, it made me think. There are these, what do you call them? Like standing stones, cairns, stacks of rocks that you can find dotted across the landscape. And if you interact with them, you can have certain abilities happen to you. So the first one that you come across in the game, there's 3, and there's the mage stone, the warrior, or the thief. And it kind of decides how you want to. Are you swishing mouthwash?
Nope. It was air.
Oh. I thought you were just having a quick mouthwash. So you can walk up.
I haven't left this spot.
I don't know. You kind of ducked over to the side for a minute. Maybe you have
my
a carafe.
ankle itched.
Oh. I thought maybe you had like a whole sippy cup of mouthwash. Why not?
I have a flask in my sock. Of
That's
mouthwash.
Badass. Oh. Of water. So the first standing stone that you come across, you can kind of decide how you want to play. Like if you want to be a sneaky pickpocket, thievy burglar, sneaky type, stealth archer, as they say, then you would go up and you would touch this stone called the Thief, and it lights up blue and it like sucks power from the stars, and then it gives you a bonus, like you're extra good at sneaking, you're extra good at pickpocketing, whatever. And to me, it feels like something that I have set up in my life, and I haven't viewed them as standing stones before. I viewed them more as like a mental witchcraft mind palace type thing, but I think I might actually start viewing them as standing stones. Sometimes if I have a task to do today, I think I am, I don't know if this is going to make sense, but I think I am extra good at this today. So I wake up and I'm like, you know what? I'm a really good cleaner today. And because that's the day that I know I'm cleaning up my space, and I'm like, you know what? I'm a car detailer. I'm the best at car detailing. And that's the day I go and do my, it's silly, but it helps me. Okay.
That's
so
cool.
To kind of,
I don't think that's silly.
Okay, good. I'm glad. To think about these is actually, I like that. I'm going to start being like, what's my standing stone today? But yeah, standing stones can just kind of help you be better at certain things in the game. And I think that, we can use real life things to be better at things in our own lives. And I think a lot of the times that is witchcraft. That is lighting the candle. That is doing the spell, doing the chant, doing the meditation, whatever. And so it just feels like in-game witchcraft to me.
So prepping, you prep for survival. What survival mechanics feel grounding?
Okay, so listen, I could rant about this for a little while. I'll save this for the more Skyrim thing, and I'll try to keep this as witch-coded as I can. I love games that you have to upkeep your character. I like The Sims. You have to feed and water and socialize and have them pee and, all the things, right? I love having to take care of my little digital person. I loved Tamagotchis growing up. Any game where you have to, survival games, Raft, you have to eat and drink occasionally. Any game where you have to do that, I love that. And to me, it is super, super grounding to take care of this person. And there's a joke that, people are like, my sim is more well taken care of than I am. And that's, I get it, but for me, doing those things, it gives me a similar feeling. Now, I'm not saying it's the same. Please don't come for me. It gives me a similar feeling of when you take care of like a pet. And no, I'm not comparing video games to pets. Please don't yell at me. But I am saying when I had Whetley, rest his soul, he died very peacefully. Sorry, I realize I've never really said that out loud, I don't think, except like on lives and stuff. Anyway, he's gone to swim in the Great Red River, but he lived his full fucking life. I buried him by the Red River on the border of Texas.
Oh.
What?
That's not okay. It's an actual thing.
It's an actual river. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Sorry.
I thought it was like some metaphysical story I didn't know.
The Great Red River in the sky. No, but it gives me a similar feeling. It's like I have this thing to upkeep and to take care of. And it helps me think, you know what? I should do this for myself too. If I'm reminding someone to drink water, eat their food, it reminds me to drink water and eat my food as well. So I use mechanics in the game that the game developer tried to put in the game and they didn't hit the mark. So I use mods where we have to stop and enjoy a meal every once and again. And we'll stop and we'll tell stories and we'll eat our bread. We'll decide what meal we want to have. It led to something that I think is one of the most grounding things, is cooking for me anyway. I don't cook often, but when I do, I love the ritual of it. And through that, I got the official Skyrim cookbook, which I highly recommend because there's so much lore in it. And there's so much about like what the different races eat and like, where different foods come from and stuff like that. But I've sustained myself at certain points in my life being like, I'm not cooking a boring old meal. I'm making salt rice pudding from Morrowind, and I think whatever helps, whatever gets you by, man. And that gets me by. I find it grounding.
That's really cool.
Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking that question that I asked you yourself. To ask me. I wanted to talk about Skyrim food.
I'm here for that.
Yeah. Oh, bro, there's a cooking mechanic. We can like make foods. Maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe that's how we'll make our money, is we'll work in a tavern and we'll make food all day. Who knows?
Oh. Okay, this question, I already know the answer for myself.
Oh.
Can a fictional world affect you spiritually?
Yeah, big time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Where do you think religion even comes from.
I mean, hot takes, Grandpa. Everybody has one of these. Every single body has one of these. Lord of the Rings. Maybe you really dig it. Maybe you really love fucking... Do what?
Narnia.
Maybe it's a world of an anime that you enjoy completely. Shit, I've listened to music concept albums that create a whole world that I feel like have given me something. Even if you're not into like the fantasy side of it, I think this even branches into like, forgive me here, I'm not a sports girly, but like into that world of you get so excited about like maybe your fantasy football league or whatever, or just like the lore behind who's going to get drafted where, and like why certain teams are better than other teams. And I think that there's something that everyone can understand about a world that they've read in a book or seen on TV or made themselves when they like crafted a D&D game or whatever, right? That sparks something within us. And I think video games are a very valid exploration of that. And this does lead me down the path of, I don't want to get on the soapbox, but, them being a lot more than silly wastes of time, or bad for people, like bad for you, or there's actually a direct correlation between the dropping of like violence in real life and video games, which is the direct opposite of what people love to say, which is like video games cause violence. And, I just think it's very misunderstood. But I'm just saying, hey, it's a valid, as someone in Skyrim says, restoration is a perfectly valid school of magic. I would like to say video games is a perfectly valid form of escapism. Do I need to cut all that out?
No, why would you?
Because sometimes when I start talking, I black out until I'm done. I'm being like 87% serious when I say that.
I understand, because a lot of the times when I'm interviewing, they'll at the end of their long screed say, "What do you think?" And I'll be like, "I don't know. I didn't hear anything you said. I don't hear what you say until I'm editing."
Back in editing, exactly. Because in the moment you're like, "Are the levels okay? Is everything like You're thinking about other stuff."
This one, I think, is also another, to me, feels obvious. Can digital environments create real emotional regulation?
Sure. Yeah. And by the way, feel free to skip any of these if you want, but I am glad that you asked this one, just because this was one of the ones that I did have a specific thing for. There's an area, and I'll show it to you guys when we play. There's an area outside of a little town that I became very attached to. I just liked to, if I had a little minute, I would go sit at this river in the game and just sort of take it in and look around and maybe organize my inventory or whatever, right? When I was in therapy, I had my therapist, we worked through, not going too much into it, but like we were working through being able to deal with things in the moment and being able to kind of self-regulate, and deal with hard things as they're happening. And one of the things that they had me work on is they were like, is there somewhere that is important to you? Or is there something that a place you go where you feel comfortable? And I said, there's this place I like in this video game. And she's like, yeah. She's like, most people, I've heard people say like, oh, this from, insert movie name here, or the scene or in this book, she's like, a lot of the times people will go to these fictional places because these things that are very real in real life, they don't necessarily exist in this place, and she was like, does that ring true for you? And I was like, yeah, when I'm in Skyrim, I'm not scared about if a doorknob is going to give me some fucking disease, and she was like, okay. And she walked me through this whole, like, we did a meditation on it and everything. She walked me through this whole thing where I was like sitting in this spot, and I collected some of the water from the river and I brought it back with me into the real world, the mental real world. And it was, if I ever needed to feel relief from my, what I now know is called mental contamination. I could reach on my tool belt, my imaginary tool belt, and I could have this water, and much like you would use Germ-X, I could put it on me, I could put it over my head, I could take a drink, I could whatever, right? Spritz it. And the water in that world brought the element of the non-existent thing. Like it could, the thing I was afraid of could not exist in the same space of this water. And this is all a very convoluted way to say, like, this has become a mental palace of sorts, of places I go. And I've, at times when I thought I was going to combust and could not handle being alive any moment, I would close my eyes and wade out into the water of this place and just take a minute and come back to real life, much more regulated and put together. And I can't wait to show you guys that space, because that space has probably saved my life a few times.
That is one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
I love it. Sometimes when I remember that exists, it makes me so happy, because you know, when you get, and I'm talking to anybody with any kind of anxiety out there, when you get so worked up that you cannot remember your coping tools. And then I remember sometimes this place, and I feel like it has almost never been like, no, I don't want to do that right now. Because sometimes I don't want to look around and name 5 things. Sometimes I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to do it. But like that place, I always want to go to that place. So, and then, you know, like it could be a little silly because you're thinking about like, oh, it's not real. But if I can come back from that little 5-minute vacation that I have, and feel like, you know what, I will put on pants today and do a thing, which I haven't yet. I'm still in my jams.
Me too. That reminds me of when I was talking to Matt Oberon, I think, about D&D, and they pointed out that a lot of military people who have PTSD, who aren't able to get closure or work through those feelings of what they did downrange, they're able to relive it through games like tabletop role-playing games, and probably things like Skyrim, where they couldn't do it in real life. They're able to do it repeatedly and work through those things. So I think that's perfectly valid, and I think it's super awesome that we're able to kind of trick our brains into doing that.
Honestly, the more you look into, like, the more you like go down psychology road, you learn so much is just tricky. Our brains are very weak, they're very squishy, they're very trickable, and tricking our brains is easier than you think. And I know that sounds bad, but like it's kind of just like a way to hack your emotional state. So I think that scenario that I just described for myself and for others, you know, if they find solace in like real world repair and healing, I think that's more restoration. Versus escapism, where it's like, I've had a bad day, I'm going to jump into this world and be somebody else. I think it can kind of come down to, I am now being someone else, or I am now healing the person that I am currently in my real world body. Which I think both can be, and I think they can work together hand in hand. But I think that keeping our game self and our real self separated, while yes, they can touch tips, and that's lovely when they do, and I love to be immersed. More than anything, I have a candle that I bought on Etsy years ago that I've been saving for when I finally did a Skyrim stream. And it's called Riverwood, which is this person. I'm going to share this guy, this person who makes this candle with you, when we do the stream. But they do scents based on the places you can go in Skyrim. And when we go to Riverwood, hopefully I'm going to crack that baby on for the first time ever. And anyway, that's the time when my fake self and my real self are shaking hands. But I can also step back and be like, I can use this as a tool to heal myself, or at least to regulate myself, without it becoming a problem. because it has been a problem before. And I think escapism can slowly consume your life to the point where it is more of a
avoidance.
crutch.
Yeah,
exactly. And hey, I've been there, brother, and you got to do what you got to do, what you got to do. But at the same time, it's nice to come back and realize that you're a whole ass person in the real world.
Do you think role play can be a magical act?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, for reasons we've discussed, absolutely. I'm seeing a lot of repetition in my questions that I say. I'm sorry, I got very excited. But yeah, I think that it's healthy to explore different sides of ourselves. Just like I think it's healthy to ask questions that we might not like. And I think it's healthy to consider other sides of arguments that we are not on. I think it's good to like stretch your brain in these ways and think, you know what? I don't want to play the game like this. I want to play it like that. Well, sure, play it that way you want to, but like maybe come back and do it the other way. Because like, and this can be a metaphor perhaps for life or something. I don't know. I'm trying to get deep here. But like, you can play the game the same way 100 times. And I have. I've been that stealth archer, as every Skyrim player knows. You always end up as a stealth archer. But I've done that a million times, and I know those dialogue options, and I know the outcomes, and I know what's going to happen, and I know where I'm going to live, and I know everything. But then, like, years and years and years later, I step away and I play that alchemist character for the first time that I never thought I would do, and my life changed because of it. So I think that it can be very magical because it can bring so much to your life that you weren't expecting. And if you've ever done role play in any of its forms, I think you probably know that it can make a permanent little impact on you.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think witches specifically are drawn to fantasy worlds? And do you think games like Skyrim and Dragon Age and Lord of the Rings, why do you think they resonate spiritually?
Because I think we are being told constantly that we are in a fantasy world. I think we have so much of the world already trying to like kill that spark in that spirit that I think so many witches inherently have, and when you even say those words to somebody like I do magic or I'm a witch, you can feel so silly saying it out loud, and you can think like, oh God, they have a very specific idea of who I am as a person. Mm-hmm. And so I think we are kind of drawn to these worlds where it's, you walk up to somebody in Lord of the Rings and said somebody did magic and they're like, yeah, okay. Anyway, it's just a Tuesday. Yes, of course there's magic. And I think that's nice to feel every once and again. So I think, yeah, we're often going to be the nerdy people in the room as well. I don't know if I've ever met a non-nerdy witch. I've ever met like a jock witch. I'm sure they exist, but
I don't know that I'd call Amy Blackthorne a jock necessarily, but she's a badass.
Oh, I think you can be badass for sure. I think you'd be athletic and badass. I'm just saying there's also that side of you. I've never met a witch that's going to be like, yes, I believe in witchcraft, and but fucking fantasy and video games? What are you, a nerd?
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm going to give you a swirly.
So why do you think that they resonate, though? These games?
I think it itches something that we want, where we have this want to see our magic have a very tangible effect. And I think it scratches almost. And I'm not trying to say it's always a power fantasy, because I don't even like to play games that are power fantasies. I heavily mod my Skyrim so that I'm just a normal dude chopping wood, making money, but like you can be special, in these worlds and in these places. Or just maybe it's not such a narcissistic thing. Maybe it's you're interacting with special people, and it feels sacred and it feels like our own thing. And I think that carries forth into our real life, and it ignites a spark that we have of that spiritual spark. And sometimes when I haven't felt it in a while, I will play a game that will bring it back to life in me, and that's very cool. And the most random of places too, like Phasmophobia had, like, when I got really like into Phasmophobia for a little while, I don't know why, like I just felt like, yes, spirits, yes.
I don't know what power what did you say?
Oh, like power fantasy. It's so if you play Skyrim the way that it was, and this can go for just about any video game, it's you are the big bad hero. You walk in, it's like everyone needs your help, and then like you're walking, you're like, I can slay the dragon. You're immediately the hero of the story, and you have all these. You're very special, and you have all the powers, and everybody looks at you and goes, "Oh my God, you're the Dragonborn, or you're the chosen one," or whatever. So that's power fantasy, which is nothing wrong with, but...
Do you feel like games like this and stories like this do you feel like there's a mythological void in modern life? Like people don't really make up mythology, or
yeah.
do they?
I think in a lot of ways we are getting what maybe used to be mythos, I guess. We are getting that in our books and our movies, and we're getting things that I think that we crave as people. Like even people who aren't uber nerdy, like they still might keep up with like all the lore of like the Marvel universe, and I think that when you start to look into all these different fandoms, there are these things that people have made up, this whole mythos of Skyrim. There are gods and goddesses. I mean, well, like Daedra and Aedra and Daedra, which is basically like gods, goddesses, and these powerful folk. And there's whole origin stories, and there's places in the world. My brain is wanting to relate it a little bit to Kushiel's, because there's like you're looking at these physical maps, and while there is some translation between real world places, Skyrim in particular is very, very heavily inspired by like Nordic and Viking culture, very snowy tundra, yada yada. Whereas let's say like High Rock, is it High Rock where there's another race in Skyrim, or in this. I'm starting to get jumbly because I'm getting very hyper focused special interesty right now. But like, there's another race of people called the Bretons, and they are more like the Scots, Scotch Irish Highland type, whatever. And then there's Red Guards, which are very like Middle Eastern and African inspired, and they, like it's very like desert, like not desert, but like, oh, there's just so much like correlation. And then there's who is it? Is it the Argonians that are like these lizard people that can like breathe underwater? And I think that they are heavily inspired by, it's either them or the Wood Elves that are very heavily inspired by like indigenous people of America, and like the way that they use things, and the way like they've taken these real world aspects and shoved it into the game. What was the original question? Is it filling a mythological void? Yes, I think it is. Uh-huh. And for someone like me who does not partake in a real world religion, I'm not saying that I am worshiping this in the same way that someone with a religion would. I'm saying it's filling the God hole, if you will, a little bit in my life. If you know what I mean.
Why are you streaming Skyrim now?
Don't know. I feel like I had written up an actual answer to this, but the more I've been looking at this question, I've been dreading you asking it, because like it could have been this whole time, but I don't know why. I was just, it felt right, and that's the only reason, or that's the only way that I can. I just feel like fair.
That's the answer.
I'm ready to share that part now, and talk about it with other people and create something that we all make together, this character that we make together, who will have a whole set of beliefs, and maybe we'll pick the the Aedra that she believes in and worships, or maybe she'll have favorite foods, and she'll have people she doesn't like and people she really likes, and we'll all get to decide that together. There's also if you play games, you know that they can often come in cycles. You'll play Minecraft and get obsessed with it for 6 months. And then you won't touch it for 2 years. And then you'll be like, you know what I should play? Stardew Valley. I haven't played that in 2 years. And then and they'll come in these loops and you'll get heavily. And I just re-entered into a Skyrim phase, which comes around about once a year for me. And then lasts about a very long time. I don't know. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. But I just entered one and I thought, you know what? I'm fucking ready. Let's do this. And I answered the communal gameplay magical part thing on accident too, because we're gonna build this person from the ground up. And while I have my bag of dice here, we're gonna roll for certain things. I'm thinking we might roll for their like race and physical attributes, and like I don't know. There's so much we're gonna do together, and it's fun.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
What kind of environment are you wanting to create with it?
I want a really chill, fun environment where we all can kind of slow down and to hang out. I want to say that I am streaming today. And if any of this was interesting to you at all, and even if not, that's something that I want to point out too. If you've never played this game, you have no interest in this game, maybe just come by and check it out and see if you like it.
In the room.
Yeah, we're all going to be chatting. And if you don't want to chat, you can lurk. Lurkers are welcome. And we'll decide everything from big decisions to, hey, should I go right or left on this road? And keep it fun and keep it chill. And
I'm excited.
I'm very excited. So tonight, 5:00 Central Time. Again, that's 6 Eastern, 4 Mountain, 3 Pacific. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. twitch.tv/Charlye. It's all down in the thing below.
I'm excited. I'll see you there.
I also have a community goal set up that we can all contribute dragon bones to, which is the free currency system that I have set up in the game. I don't know how it's going to work, but my very first community goal is once we all pitch in enough and we reach the amount, I am going to do my first ever cosplay. I'm going to stream Skyrim in a Skyrim-inspired cosplay, and I'm going to try to do I'm going to do the best that I absolutely can and be for real about it.
Am I going to send you another wig?
Excited. Yes! Yeah! Oh, excuse me. Fucking elf ears, the lot. It'll be great.
Oh, I'm excited.
Is this an excuse for me to buy Ren Fair clothes early? Maybe. I don't care.
I'm excited.
Okay.
Yay!
All right. Thank you for indulging me, everyone, and especially Kim. I appreciate it. I gotta get out of this room. I gotta go.
Say that every time.
I gotta leave. I'm sweating.
I gotta go feed 50 baby spiders.
Yes, you do. Oh, they're hungry and they're all going, Mom!
Yeah.
If they could talk, what would they sound like? That would be awful. 50 all the time.
A lot of them, yeah.
And there's one that's like a little bit lower than all the rest.
That's Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy.
He's not even really a spider. It's just like a...
Yeah. It's a really small
little caterpillar that wandered in.
Yeah. Mama. Okay, getting silly. Got the bedtime sillies. Oh. I don't remember the last hour and a half.
Well, it's been an hour and 55 minutes. Do you not remember any of it? Anyway.
Okay. I'm a good
Church of Jim, AnahatasPurpose.com, Church of Jim. Get your $10 off to the $75 order. Come see us at Anahata's Purpose. We're going to have a church ceremony. The end. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Check the links below if you want to go to that AP and put in that code and all that. Bye-bye. Love you. Come see me stream. Get some food if you're hungry. Take a nap if you're tired.
If you're tired,
Drink
pull
some
over.
Water. If you get hungry, eat something.